Welcome to Orange County Power Players, where we spotlight the personal, professional, and financial success stories of OC's top leaders. Here's your host, Danny Flores.
Welcome back to OC Power Players, where I interview some of the most successful people in Orange County. I'm Danny Flores, your host, and today's honored guest is Lorrie Klein, zooming in from Laguna Niguel. Lorrie describes herself as creative, artistic innovator who helps others feel good about themselves. More specifically, she is a board-certified dermatologist in practice since 1989 in Laguna Niguel. She specializes in cosmetic dermatology. She grew up in New Jersey and attended Rutgers University, graduating summa cum laude. She received her medical degree from UMDNJ, Robert Wood Johnson Medical School, and residency training in dermatology at the University of California, Irvine. She is proud to say she is amongst the top 1% of all physicians in the Black Diamond level, with allergen that have been ranked among the top 10 dermatologists in the USA and among the top 100 of all types of physicians in the world using Botox and Juvederm. She has also been ranked as the number one physician in the USA using Jeuveau. Welcome, Lorrie.
Thanks for having me, Danny.
Yes. So tell us how you decided to specialize in dermatology and how it all started from the beginning.
Oh gosh, well, we're going way back.
Let's do that. Yeah.
Well, when I was in medical school, I know I wanted to be a doctor, but I did not want to deal with people who were dying frequently. I did not, and I wanted to have a family also. So I didn't want to have hours that kept me out late at night or on call on weekends. And dermatology seemed like the perfect field. Of course, back then, now we're talking about the 80s when I was in medical school. Back then, dermatology was acne, warts, moles, and skin cancer. That's about it. And people did not think it was not quite as an attractive field as it is now. But that's okay. I was looking forward to, especially the skin cancer part, because I like procedures. I like using my hands and being creative. And then, so I applied, got into derm, which I was very grateful for because it's still is the hardest residency to get a position in. There's only 200 to 300 openings a year in the country. And I was lucky enough to come out to California. I came from New Jersey. And, believe me, when I came to California, I said, I'm not going back. I mean, either visiting, yes, but not living.
Right. Why would you, right? With this weather?
So then I started practicing in 1989 and went from a 900 square foot office to almost 6,000 square foot office that I have right now.
That's a big jump. That's a lot of growth over the years. Now, so you started out, it was just you. Obviously, your office is multiplied, and I'm sure your patient base has as well. How was that? And what do you have to do to make yourself stand out above the rest to be able to grow like that?
Well, Danny, I'm an early adopter, so I like new technology. And so when lasers were just starting to be introduced into dermatology in the 90s, I started using them. When Botox was being used, but not officially approved for cosmetic use, only for medical use, but we're allowed to use things for other purposes if they're approved for something. I started using Botox for cosmetic purposes in the 90s. It got approved for cosmetic use in 2002. So being ahead of the curve, by being one of those people who was known in the area for doing something that not everyone was doing, it gave me a head start, especially in the cosmetic realm. And then as the years went by, I went from one full-time, one part-time employee and me to now we have like 16 people. I have 2 PAs, an esthetician, another doctor here. My practice joined Platinum Dermatology Partners, so we're part of a large organization, which is great because it gives us a lot of support. But I dedicated myself to almost all cosmetic starting about 10 years ago because I realized I had a talent for it. I loved it. I was really good at it. And that's what helped me grow too.
Yeah, I think it's as we make decisions, career decisions in our lives, it helps to be passionate about what we do because then it's not a job anymore. We love helping people in whichever way we're doing it and seeing the results, and that brings joy and passion to keep doing it and get better at it.
It's not a job if you love it.
Right, right. It's not work. It's just having a good time, helping people, making people smile.
And that's what makes me want to keep practicing, more part-time as I get older, but I'm in my 60s now. I love what I do, and I want to practice into my 70s. As long as I'm still good at it, I'll keep doing it.
Right. Maybe your practice is not very stressful, so it doesn't age you, so you can just keep going till you decide not to.
Well, it's that and having access to Botox anytime I want.
That's right. You use your own methodologies on yourself and prove that it works. That is awesome. So then, what when somebody comes to you, are they sometimes not as confident as they could be because they don't like the way they look? Once you start doing treatments, that confidence just boosts through the roof. Talk us through what that looks like with your patients.
Oh, that is so true. I mean, that's what brings me joy every day. Is I have people, mostly women and some men, though, coming in not feeling good about themselves. And like Botox takes a while to kick in, Botox and Jeuveau, but fillers are immediate. So when
Mm-hmm.
I sculpt a face with fillers, and I call it sculpting because it's like that, you see the results immediately. And I see their faces look in the mirror afterwards, and they just
Mm-hmm.
brighten up and they're so happy. And sometimes they give me a hug, or sometimes they even cry. They're just feel so much better about themselves. I mean, it makes my day.
Yeah, it must be nice to be able to make that change for somebody, right? The idea is whatever we do is to be able to bring smile to patients or clients or customers' faces. That makes it like worthwhile. What we're doing is making a change for somebody.
That's more important than the money or anything else.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then you picked a good area, I think, in Orange County where people are more aware maybe of themselves and their presentation. And that could help drive clients to you as well and patients.
Yeah, it's an affluent area, but it's a middle class affluent area, middle and upper middle class. I'm not in Newport Beach. I'm in
Hmm.
good old Laguna Niguel,
Hmm.
which patients want to look very natural. They don't want to look
Hmm.
overdone. And that's what I specialize in.
Now, are there any side effects or any issues with being out in the sun once they get their treatments done?
Only with lasers, not with injectables. And injectables is more what I specialize in, but we have 12 different devices here, including a lot of lasers that my staff do. And
Hmm.
a lot of those will affect the surface of the skin. So while it's healing, you have to be careful with the sun.
Can you walk us through the different types of procedures there are and what the result is in somebody? What are they looking for when they use any of these procedures?
Well, it varies. So if somebody is just looking older, you have to identify why they're looking older. Sometimes the
Mhm.
cheeks are flattening out. Sometimes they're getting marionette lines here that are
Mhm.
deepening, and it makes them look mad or sad. So sometimes
Mhm.
it's emotion. It's an emotion that their face is expressing that they are not really feeling, and that's negative.
Mhm.
And that's one thing. And then that we do injectables for, like Botox and fillers.
Mhm.
Wrinkles, of course, Botox and fillers too. We have so many things we do now. Like with Botox, in Jeuveau, I can fix a jawline. I can make a jawline look straighter by just relaxing the neck muscles. I can make the neck look smoother by injecting in the front of the neck. I can bring the corners of the mouth up by injecting. I won't go into all of it, but that we can do a lot more things than we used to be able to do. Then there's lasers. Lasers can help with wrinkles. They can help with discoloration on the face. They can help with they're not all lasers per se. They're technically energy-based devices, but like
Mhm.
soft wave, I do a lot of, which tightens up the skin with no downtime. It's not
Mhm.
as much of it as a facelift would do. People have to be realistic, but it does give them a little tightening without having to undergo the knife.
So how do they work the lasers? What do they yeah, in layman's terms, right? Not getting too technical here so that the audience will understand. How does that make the wrinkles start disappearing?
Okay, so let's use Fraxel laser for example. Fraxel laser is my favorite fine line wrinkles pore for large pore device.
Mm-hmm.
And what that does is the rays go through the skin and stimulate, and the heat produced by the laser stimulates collagen production in the skin. And that
Mm.
collagen production is what fills in the wrinkles and also helps tighten up the pores. That's one example. They all work on different technologies.
Right. So then once that gets done, how long does it last before the wrinkles come back or before they need another procedure?
Good question. Some of the devices like Fraxel Restore need 3 in a row and then once a year for maintenance. And the reason you have to do maintenance is it's not necessarily that the results are gone, but you continue to age. And if you don't want that collagen that you built along with your own natural collagen, I mean, that was there before, pre-collagen, pre-treatment collagen, if you don't want it to just start disappearing at the normal rate, you want to keep up with these things.
When you say 3 in a row, how far
Monthly,
apart? So for the first 3 months, you're going to do once a month and then once a year thereafter to maintain.
right, for that particular device.
Okay, okay. Now, is it so when somebody walks in and say, I need to get rid of these wrinkles, depending on what you have to do, it depends what device you use, or do you talk to them and present them more than one option that they have and then they choose?
Yes, there's usually more than one option. It's usually a combination of fillers, toxins like Botox and Jeuveau, Daxxify is another one. Fillers and those, and then also lasers or other devices. So there's microneedling, for example. It's not heat producing, but it creates little tiny punctures in the skin that stimulate collagen production. There's
Mm-hmm.
microneedling combined with radio frequency. That produces heat in the skin that also stimulates collagen. That's one choice, and you might want to do that, or it has less downtime than Fraxel. But Fraxel is a little more potent. You'll get a little more
Mm-hmm.
results with that.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you do, well, it depends on how many you do. You could do 5 microneedlings with radio frequency, and that might equal 3 Fraxels. So
Mm-hmm.
there's a whole bunch of different things we can offer patients.
So I keep hearing you mention collagen. Is collagen the culprit for our faces or actually aging in a sense?
Partly, so there's the surface damage from the sun. That's a little bit of collagen, but also just surface damage like fine lines and discoloration, things like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Collagen is in the dermal layer of the skin, which is the second layer. And that is very important because that gets thin as we get older. And that's why your face looks more wrinkled. But then there's the fat underneath, the subcutaneous fat. So the fat is very important, and what that often is fixed with fillers. Our fat pads diminish in our cheeks and they drop down. And that's why our lower face gets heavier and our upper face looks more hollow, or our eyes look hollow. There's all sorts of things genetically with aging. That's more of a genetic type of aging, but we can fix that with fillers. I do beautiful, looks like a facelift sometimes with
Yeah.
just doing fillers.
Because of the fat cushions you said.
Right, right. You got to bolster up the face. It's sort of like if it's a bed. If you look at its bed as a metaphor, the
Uh-huh.
surface of the skin is the sheets, and
Right,
you want to use good skincare too because you want to keep the sheets clean.
right.
Okay, the mattress is the collagen, and the springs in the mattress are the fat. And so
Interesting.
there's different layers in there that you want to address.
Right, right. Now, are there supplements that people that you want them to take or people could take to kind of help along with that process?
There are some oral medications that can help with sun protection. I personally don't believe in the collagen taken orally by an oral route helping at all. The
Hmm.
collagen molecule is very large. You see a lot of it on the internet and on TV being sold to help with the skin, but I don't think you're getting much absorption of that. And if you do, I don't know if it's getting into the skin at all.
Interesting. Okay. And then you also mentioned skincare. Is there a certain type of products for skincare that both, I guess, both men and women, because we're all going to age, to slow down the process or nurture the process as we actually.
Absolutely. Number one, sunscreens. And that you don't need anything fancy for. Just get one you like that feels good on your skin. It could be a moisturizing one. It could be tinted and be makeup also for women at the same time.
Hmm.
But but everybody already has some damage. So to reverse some of the damage, I recommend a good retinol. The best ones are through physicians or a physician-owned website because you can get more potent ones than you can buy in the drugstore or the department store, or you can get prescription Retin A, but it's a little more harsh and a little more irritating. Then you want to use something that maybe has some growth factors, like the Skinmedica TNS products. Those have a growth factor in them, which is excellent. It's what I use personally, along with the retinol. And then there's ones that have vitamins and antioxidants in them. Those are also, very, very good. Then if you have a problem like pigmentation, there's lightening products. But there's a lot of products out there that aren't very good. So you want to be guided by a good dermatologist on what the best thing to buy is.
No, so that's interesting that there's so much that you can do to slow down the aging process. You can't eliminate it, which would be ideal for all of us, but
you can reverse it, but you can't stop the clock.
Right, exactly. So you got to just figure out how to age gracefully as we move along.
Well, if I wasn't doing all the stuff that I've been doing for 30 plus years, I probably wouldn't look as good as I do now at 66.
Well, yeah, there's no way you said 66, and it's like very hard to believe.
Thank you. I
An
appreciate
amazing
those
job.
compliments I get every day when I love telling people my age because all this stuff helps.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like obvious, right? This is what you do, and you use your own products, and it's like it works. Yeah, can't complain that it doesn't. So as we wrap up the interview, what do you have exciting working on for between the next 6 to 12 months?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know if anything new, except that there's usually new uses for a lot of the products that I use coming out. Like recently, they came out with the Nefertiti lift, which is what I've been doing for a while, but now they have an official approved use for it with Botox, where you inject along the jawline and it helps the jowls and it helps the cheeks lift up a little. And I keep learning new things like that, new ways to use the products that I like to use.
Mm. So the whole process just keeps evolving from year to year then.
As the baby boomers get older and then the millennials coming up now wanting to do these things and soon Gen Z, we have more and more, of a market for these things. So we want to, especially as the baby boomers get older, we want to find ways to help some of these things that weren't available before.
Wow, no, that's amazing that there's more, I guess, processes that can be used to reverse it or even start younger, right? Is that the trick to start using these products younger at a younger age so you can kind of prolong the runway?
Yes, although I'm not a proponent of somebody at 20 years old starting Botox between their eyebrows unless they already are starting to wrinkle there. So I don't think everybody needs prevention in every area, but I
Right.
think some people who are in their 20s, for instance, or 30s, who are starting to get wrinkles in certain areas, can maybe even stop. They can get out of the habit of doing certain facial expressions and maybe not have to do it the rest of their life. And then, of course, starting with sunscreens, of course, that's so important. I can't stress that enough. Be careful with the sun because that's going to help prevent things coming years later. Not just wrinkles, but skin cancer, of course.
Yes. Well, thanks so much for sharing the amazing work that you do, Dr. Klein. And if somebody is listening and would like to get a hold of you, how can they get a hold of you?
Go to our website, ocdermatology.com. Would probably be the best way. Our phone number's on there. You can contact us from there. There's a contact page if you have any questions.
Perfect. Well, Dr. Klein, thanks so much for coming on and sharing. And to our audience, please go to ocpowerplayers.com and follow us on your favorite channel.
Thank you, Danny.
You're welcome.
Thanks for listening to Orange County Power Players. Want to share your success story? Apply to be a guest at ocpowerplayers.com/guest.